We are at an organic greenhouse in North Carolina where we have just went to pick up our replacement plants that the freak hailstorm took out. This is Banner Greenhouses, and we were picking up our replacement brassicas. We already had most of our brassicas planted. Sorry if that's getting a little bit too fast on the car, but we just picked up our stuff and thought you all might enjoy seeing the size of this place. Right there is life goals for me, is a gutter connected greenhouse that's probably about 1/3 that size. That's probably about 3 or 4 times bigger than what I need or want, because the more you build, the more you have to heat and take care of, and so probably about 1/4 that. I love the, if you can see there on top, I love the automatic vents where the whole roof is opening up on that. That is just absolutely amazing. Very cool, very cool. We needed organic plants and we needed bulk organic plants, so we are organic certified, of course, as you know.
And it happens to be, actually, this place is CCOF or certified
yeah,
too,
so they are a CCOF certified organic facility, and we are in North Carolina. This is about a 2-hour drive from our house. We are very happy. There's, if you can see, we got them stacked up in crates. There is 10, Tiffany?
Yep.
10 flats. What are they, about 72 per tray?
I think most of them.
So we probably picked up around 720 plants. We already had 350 to 400 cabbage and cauliflower in the ground, and we lost virtually every one of them to that hailstorm. And I can't just tell my customers that, oh, sorry, we're not having cauliflower and cabbage this year. So, I mean, I could, we just don't want to. So that's what we're changing. So, Tiff, let me zoom out here so they can actually see you. You want to tell them what your passion was to make sure that we got organic plants, as of course, because it's a requirement, but you know, to just assure people that we go that extra measure to make sure we have organic plants for you. We don't just substitute and do what we want to do.
Yep, it was a lot of effort to find someone locally that had anything organic. Obviously none of the nurseries, Lowe's, Home Depot, besides not having it in bulk, also do not offer organic plants. And then also, when you buy them from nurseries, you don't know if they have been touched with the other plants that have not been organically grown, transplanted. But Banner Greenhouses is actually organic certified. The only thing that they don't have organic is some of their flower seeds. They cannot get organic, but they still grow them organically. So we know that by buying them from Banner, we are still safe and we're good. And then all the plants that we got, of course, are 100% organic. So we want to keep that organic with our certification, but we also want to, because the chemicals that they spray on foods, especially brassicas, because you eat so much of the leaves, anything that you eat the leaves on, we want to make sure it does not have those chemicals on there, because we know what it can do to you. So we want to keep our food as safe as we can.
So, all right, we are headed back. We are loaded up. We gave you a little video overshot of their facility. They have overhead irrigation sprinklers over their beds, And this is all stuff that we are working on the farm, except for on a much, much smaller scale.
Yeah.
We're not even close to this scale, nor would this even fit on our farm. Looks to me like they have about 15 acres under production for greenhouses and so on and so forth. We are planning on ourselves putting in several more greenhouse / high tunnels on the farm over the next few years, and making what we have larger so we can serve our customers more and better. We want to be able to provide very, very quality products, and as we expand and get better and refine what we do, then these things get easier. Prime example is the loss of this, the crop. The freak hailstorm, there was nothing we could have done about it.
Yeah.
But if we had had our cabbages and brassicas inside, then we wouldn't have lost our backups and the plants that we intended to sell to our customers. We've lost 75% of the cauliflower and broccoli and cabbage and Romanesco and kale. We lost 90% of the kale that we had ready to sell. Beautiful kale, and the plants were ready to go in an organic single pot. And for the person who just wants 1 or 2 plants, that's the way to go. And homeowners and so forth, and that's what we produce for, is homeowners. We're producing for the person that just wants a few plants. We would have to be a larger operation in order to be able to afford to sell in flats at a large discount, because we would have to be turning a high volume, and that's not possible with what we have, because it's a family-run operation. And so we're designed to set up to sell to the homeowner and to the person that's got a small garden in their backyard, and so on and so forth. Or even up to a large garden if they're looking for some basic stuff, because we offer jalapenos and red beef steaks in a limited amount in 4-packs and some 6-packs on stuff, and even cauliflower and kale, and some of that is offered in 4-packs and 6-packs. But this year there won't be much of that because it all got destroyed by the hailstorm. And there's nothing we can do about the weather. We ain't going to fret over it. We ain't going to sit around and whine and cry. We're just going to move on and do what we need to do to make things right. And this was the only option that we had. We had a few, if you're familiar with cauliflower, we had a few snowball cauliflowers that were sheltered from the storm. But that's a basic white cauliflower, and it's a great cauliflower. But we like to have a variety for our customers, and so we were working on a green cauliflower and a purple cauliflower and white cauliflower, of which we lost almost every one. I mean, you can just say it was destroyed. Out of probably a total of 800 plants, between what we had to sell and what we had planted, we lost 95% of them. So we're not saying that to whine. We're not saying that to cry over it. We're just saying that's reality. And so that's why we've had to make this trip today, and take part of our day of production out to go pick this up, so that we can get them in the ground today. They would have shipped it to us, but that could have took up to a week to get it here, and that's if there was no problems. And if the shipping company destroyed them while they were shipping them, then guess what? We still don't have no plants, and at that point, they don't have any plants.
Yeah.
So that's why we made the trip and did what we did, so that we could.
Got to figure out which direction we're going now.
I had Tiffany on video, so she wasn't keeping up with directions to get us out of here. This greenhouse is kind of back in the back 40. It's up a road, up a road, up a road, up a road, and then off of a road, and that makes it kind of interesting. I probably turned the wrong direction because I really couldn't remember, because I wasn't focusing on which way I was going. just like in your garden.
Continue on Harmony Grove Road for 1 mile.
So you're good.
So just like in your garden, if something goes wrong, you don't just give up. You back up and punt. You put together a new plan. You know, ideally our cauliflower would have been in the ground for 3 weeks and growing. But now it's going to be back to day one again. And it won't be quite as productive because we lost that 3 weeks. So it's going to be more of a chance of watching the weather and hoping that everything works out, and playing the size game, because it won't get to be quite as big this way, but it'll still be quality. And the size really isn't as big a deal because most people prefer the medium-sized heads of cauliflower over the large heads. So Tiffany, on the cauliflower, what colors were we able to get from them?
We actually, I believe we got orange, purple, and white.
Okay, so the orange is really cool. We were not able to get seeds to seed the orange this year.
They sold out very quickly.
They sold out before we really should have had our order in quicker. But the orange was already sold out, so we was not able to buy it. So we're really happy that we're going to have the orange cauliflower. And hopefully we still got a few purple available.
It looked like we actually had some that we had planted that were still actually growing pretty good.
So hopefully we can salvage a few purple, and so we'll hopefully end up with white, green, purple, and orange. That'll go in our CSA boxes first, and for us. Obviously we grow for us too. We don't just grow and sell. A lot of people do that, but we grow and try to consume this time of year when the season starts to come in.
1,000 feet, turn left to stay on Harmony Grove Road.
Sorry about that, but we got to have directions. But this time of year when our crops start to come in, we consume about 90% of our produce off the farm.
Take the next left to stay on Harmony Grove Road.
And so that's the idea here. And then we also are getting higher and higher on our fruit production.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto the I-40 West ramp to Marion.
As the fruit production gets higher and higher, and Tiffany's trying to kill the map, but it ain't letting her. But as the fruit production gets higher and higher, then we are consuming more and more fresh produce off the farm. And we're hoping this year for a good crop, and that way we will be able to consume the fruit as well as the vegetables off the farm instead of having to buy, because we'll focus on whatever's in season on our farm is what we'll be eating, and then what stores will store. So that's the game plan with us, and I encourage everyone to grow a garden. Don't start out big if you've never done it. Start out with a basic sized garden and learn what you're doing. Don't be scared of drip irrigation. You probably don't necessarily need drip if you're doing a 4x4 or an 8x8 or something like that, or a 4x10. Now if you're doing a raised bed, I encourage you to look into drip irrigation from the beginning, because raised beds are harder to keep watered. They really dry out quicker, and especially around the edge of the bed. So that drip irrigation really, really helps you, unless you're just there all day long, got plenty of time to work with it.
And keep in mind, you are going to fail. Every year you will have a new failure.
Sure.
One year you may have a lot of failures. We have failures from time to time.
Oh yeah.
Continue to have failures from time to time, because
we had a failure last year. I thought I had the cherry tomatoes far enough away. We tried to locate them to a new spot, and I thought I had them far enough away from our walnut tree that they'd be okay. And they did grow, but they grew at a lackluster rate, and so we ended up with about 1/3 the production of cherry tomatoes that we wanted for the year.
Right. So you're gonna have a failure. So you gotta keep trying. You don't give up.
That's right.
Learn from your mistakes and do better next year.
Exactly. And that's what we continue to do, is to improve upon our system. We have some overhead irrigation coming to put in our greenhouse number 1, and that overhead irrigation will be used over top of our greens like lettuce and kale and Mizuna, Pak Choi, and I'm sure I'm missing 5 or 6 things. But that does a couple of things. One, the overhead irrigation, we can put it on a system, or I can even put it on a timer to where it'll be run during the heat of the day, and that way it will cool the plants off and help slow down the bolt process and keep them from wilting. And it keeps a good moisture in there for those plants so that we don't have plants drying out. So we'll run and we'll have to play with that to get the numbers right on how long it needs to run. And I'm going to think it's going to need to run twice a day. So that's got to be taken care of. But this is all stuff that we continue to do that in order to allow us to do more. We always push the envelope on what we're able to accomplish. And we go way past what any normal person would think is sane. And it probably isn't sane what we do, but it is still what we do.
Our organic inspector last year told us that he thought we might have been overextending ourselves, and we were like, yeah, we kind of do every year. So, you know, it just, we push ourselves to the limit, but we enjoy it. And instead of having, you know, we're not a family that likes to go, you know, to the mall on a regular basis and do nothing for 3 hours at nighttime. You know, it's nice once a week or so to sit down and watch a movie with the family, but I mean, we like to actually stay busy and keep stuff going. So we basically work from sun up to sundown, actually past the sundown, sun up till time to go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, usually we're working from early in the morning. Now we don't get up at 5 a.m. and start work. But we start working early in the morning, and we usually work up till somewhere between 7 and 10 at night. And occasionally, during peak season of shipping and so forth, we ship a lot of plants and produce. During that peak season, sometimes we'll be up till 1 a.m. in the morning. It's just part of it. And there's going to be some of that going on shortly if I don't get my grafting finished, because it's got to be done. We grafted we were tired last night. Everybody was wore out. But I grafted 2 cherry trees last night because they just needed to be done. And I probably had energy to get one more done, but we just didn't do it. So tonight, after everything's done, we got more grafting to do. And we have a Bible study on Monday night, so after Bible study, we'll be grafting. And it's got to be done. I got to finish I got 3 or 4 more pear trees that's got to be done. They got to be done today. Pear trees had to be finished today and put in the pot. And then I got another 200 roughly apples